We are Bill and Bee Bedore, and we're Billy Bedore's parents. We have a large family of 10 children, and Billy was our 9th child. Born at St. Mary's Hospital in Minneapolis. He was born Down syndrome. It was interesting at that point that the doctors had come in and told us that they called it
Mongoloid
they
idiot.
called him a mongoloid, and they thought it would be best if we didn't even meet him, that they would send him right down to Institute for the Insane, and they would keep him there because he probably only had a life expectancy of 2 or 3 years.
They asked us if we'd made a decision, and we said, yes, we're going to take him home with us. And they said, but that's not fair to the rest of your children, because when he passes away, and it's going to take so much of your time. And they meant well by it, but we said, well, we'll cross those bridges when we come to a
And
path.
at that point, from then on, we found that that was the best decision we could have ever made.
In those early days, my parents were told by the doctors that he would not live past the age of 12 to 15. He would be a vegetable, he wouldn't be able to communicate. And one of the things that my parents really had the faith in God, that God gave us Billy for a reason. About 12 years ago, I started traveling to Africa, to a country called Zambia. And my family had, my parents especially, had missionary priests and sisters that were living there, and I wanted to see what they were doing.
As a young priest, I had the chance to come for the first time to the United States, here in Minnesota in fact, and I did an intensive program at the University of Minnesota, and it was basically on leadership and disabilities. So advocacy, inclusion, and the general understanding. It was through actually Sandy that I and a number of people were able to come here to the United States and do that program on leadership. I had the opportunity then to meet Bill, whom Sandy was talking about so much, and indeed whatever she shared about him was real. So the reality of a family that has a person with special needs, and a family that has come together, and Bill being the center of their love, their unity, and it just is what I experienced when I visited and met her parents here.
Sometimes people with disabilities have more gifts that are just waiting to be realized. And sometimes they need our help in order to bring that out in them and with them.
We really see folks like Billy, the developmentally challenged, as a great gift. There are teachers, it's mutual, we can learn together, and it's part of expanding the table to call to the table. It's so very gospel, you know. It's what we do, and it's fun, and we look for quite creative ways to do that. I just think Bill serving is an example of that. He does a good job too.
Once I got to know the area, once I got to know the people in Zambia, it occurred to me that I never saw people with special needs out on the streets. And so I started asking about that. And in Zambia at that time, 10 years ago, and even to now, but it's much better now, a lot of people were still being hidden away in their homes and things like that.
It is very striking. It is very touching. It made me think about my people back home, my ministry. I was working in a huge parish in Lusaka, and I was thinking, well, it must be true that back home, even among the faithful, there are many who have a relative, a child, a spouse, a friend with special needs, and they are never brought to church. Maybe nobody cares to take them to school. So immediately my experience with Bill, with his mom and dad and siblings, really kept me thinking, how do I begin to talk about this and tell people that it's okay, there's nothing wrong, and to come out and to say that with this person you can reach out to so many people. So it really struck me and triggered my interest in working with people with disabilities.
Every Monday, Billy and I train for about an hour and a half. We play racquetball. We do every machine that LA Fitness has. We get his cardio up, and he's very, very strong on all of his limbs, arms and legs, and we just keep that strength. Billy comes from a very, very unusual family because their philosophy has always been mind, body, and spirit. It reflects on every one of his brothers and sisters and his parents. And you can see the difference his lifestyle has made in people that are the same age that are not as strong and vital and well-balanced as he is. It's important to keep Billy active because we want to maintain that sense of confidence and balance. It's the old saying, if you don't use it, you lose it.
We've been swimming together basically once a week for 12 years. He can do the front crawl, he can do the backstroke, he can do the breaststroke, he can do the butterfly better than I can. Every time he comes to the pool, he just brings that love and joie de vivre, that whole breath of life that comes with him. He started out without as many water skills as you see now on this thing, but a willingness to keep pushing, to keep learning. And I love that. I love that with any of my swimmers.
Most of the people I know in Zambia don't know how to swim. When Bishop Patrick Chisengo was visiting the United States to provide swim lessons for him, and Billy's swim coach was able to work with Bishop Patrick to learn how to swim. And Billy was right there helping. And I kept looking at that and I kept thinking, wow, here's Billy's ability, and he's thought of at times with having disabilities, but yet he has huge abilities that are much better than the general population.
It is important, when I did the first swim lessons, I was with Billy, and he kept on urging me. He urged me on. I was scared to go to the deeper end, and he would dive in and swim across and come back. When I managed to go through the first time, he came and gave me a high five and said, "You are doing good." That's an encouragement. It made me realize that, well, all of us can learn something from one another. Even a person with special needs has something that I do not have. And even as a priest, as a bishop, I can interact with him and he can teach me things. So even a swim lesson is a big educational experience for me and my relationship with a person with special needs. There could be someone among us, anyone who might have a person with any form of disability out there, and you are ashamed. Look at me. Without these glasses, these spectacles, I'm not able to see and make out the people out there in the pews. That is my disability. It is corrected by these glasses.
I'm Diane Cross, and I'm the president and CEO of Fraser. We're the largest provider in the upper Midwest of services for children and adults with autism. Our program is individualized to every single client. Billy has an individual program. He gets to eat what he wants. He gets to pretty much do what he wants. You know, you've got to think of Billy and the other clients we serve as choosing to live with 3 other great friends that they have, right? Because he's got these wonderful 3 friends that he's lived with for years. And then being able to go out in the community and be just like any other typical 50-year-old. Do what you want. Go to ball games, you know, ski, whatever you want to do. We help make that happen. Regardless of whether or not he can communicate as well as the rest of us, he has the courage to do pretty much anything. And again, I think that's because Bill and Bea have let him have whatever opportunity that he feels he wants. They've ensured that he's had that chance in the same way that the rest of us have the chance to try things. He's just blossomed in terms of making friends. He's become so much more social.
Hi, Bill. How you doing? Good.
My name is Ryan St. John. I am Billy's service coordinator here at Opportunity Partners. Opportunity Partners is a nonprofit organization, and our mission is to advance the quality of life with people with disabilities. Billy's been coming here for about 25 years on the production floor. Billy's been working out there for a number of years now, and that's a big part of what we do with OP. And in that time, OP has been heavily involved in Bill's life. So we do new semesters every 6 months, and pretty universally when the new semester comes out and we create the schedules, instructors are very excited to have Billy in their class. Like one of the jobs that we saw Billy sitting down doing is at that Graco machine, inserting the blister packs and just inserting projects, and that's been a big job for us. We enjoy having him and he enjoys coming here.
I met Billy probably, we think it's close to 30 years ago now. At that point, he had become non-communicative, basically. He was not really verbalizing. I was approached by his parents at church at Our Lady of the Lake when I was interpreting there for a deaf congregant. And I spoke with Mr. Bedore, and he asked if I would be interested in working with Billy on communication. Years before that, he had learned some sign language when he was with some nuns, and so he thought that perhaps with me working with sign language I could help bring out his speech and increase his communication again. So at that point I started working with him twice a week for an hour each time. It was amazing that in some sense he couldn't really remember what he had done last week, but he could remember a sign that he had learned when he was 16 years old. The part of the brain that remembers visual imagery and sign language is a different part of the brain than you would use for speech. When I first started working with him, I think he was saying maybe 10, 15 words, something like that, and now he's in the thousands of words.
Paint your face. Paint your face.
I'm most impressed by people who, despite their disabilities, put themselves in situations where they have to use maybe what isn't their strength. And he's in situations all the time where he has to communicate, right? And that's not maybe his greatest strength. But he doesn't shy away from being social just because he can't communicate. And I think that says something to the rest of us in life, is that we should all look at those things and not let those be real barriers to what we really want to do to fulfill our dreams and what God's plan for us is.
He has so much self-confidence that too is invigorating. And I've had people come up to me many times, even people that are handicapped at the club, who have used him as an inspiration and now bring their children in who have Down syndrome to play racquetball in an adjoining court to us. There is such a wonderful sense of encouragement. And as I said, because they have always treated Billy no differently than anyone else, he feels no different than anyone else. And it's that kind of graciousness that you wish just prevailed in the world today.
One of the things I would love for people seeing this documentary of Billy is to really look at different people's definitions of success. Billy is very successful in his life. He's had lots of supports, and we fully appreciate that. Billy has grown up to be a very healthy, well-adjusted man. He's 51 years old now. He's happy. He loves life. And it was all culminated for me at his 50th birthday party that we held last year, where over 200 people from multiple states came to pay their respects to Billy and to wish him a happy birthday, because these are the people whose lives he has touched over the years.
Yes, I know Billy for quite some time now, because I came here in 2008 and met Billy.
and I have been communicating to him, and when I came back this year, he was able to know who I was, and we went together for swimming lessons every Saturday. I really enjoyed myself here. Thank you.
We keep doing this with him, and even though he's 50 years old, it keeps stimulating him, and I think that most people who are working with him get as much out of it as he does.
When I talk about my brother Billy, I always tell people that he is the love of my life, and that it's not just my life. Every single person that I've ever seen him interact with, he gives them a gift because they are changed from that day forward. They are better for meeting Billy. Billy makes their lives better, and that has happened throughout his entire life.
His 9 brothers and sisters couldn't agree more because they just love Billy. We all get along so well with him, and has held us all together ever since he was born, and now here he is 50 years old.
He's definitely a character. He's not a wallflower. When he walks into a room, people pay attention. Very engaging.
He's my buddy. I love him dearly, and he looks forward to our visits, and so do I. So it's been a real growing process for both of us.
Billy's pure love of life and joy of life is enough to put a smile on anyone's face at any time. If I'm having a bad day, one of the things I do is I call Billy because I will get an instant smile. My attitude will change. He's the only person in my life that has that ability to instantly change the way I feel in a given day. We fully appreciate everything that Billy contributes to our family and to the successes that he continues to have.
It's been neat to see a family that hasn't abandoned their child but has embraced this opportunity and see him as just a gift to their family.
They're a close family to begin with. I think Billy's brought them even closer together. He's magnetic that way. And the care they have for him is a model for our parish in the care we want to have for each other and then for everybody.
He's a gift from God that knows how to give unconditional love, and he has infected everyone in the family and all of his cousins and everybody's spouses, which we think is just amazing.
His openness, his giftedness, his being just so out there, who is so free, who would want to do a high five, who would look into your eyes with that love and so forth. That's how Bill struck me from the moment I met him, and every time I've had the occasion to meet Bill, that's how much he has struck me. I found a friend, a brother, and somebody who can really help me in my own life and ministry.
We really do need people like my brother Billy, and I am still so grateful that Billy is in my life because he has really helped me find my humanity. You have to keep searching for these different resources. You have to think outside the box. If we all work together, we will see what kind of abilities they have and how they contribute on a positive level to our lives on a daily basis.
Each one of us would have one form of disability or another. Why would you leave out that person who has a physical or mental or developmental disability? We need to embrace them and bring them to church. I would not deny the sacrament to anyone, members of your family with a disability.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine.
You make me happy when skies are gray.
You never
know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away.
I love you. Get happy. Bye-bye.